I also want to make it very clear. I don't believe in good people, bad people. I don't believe in that. For me, it just comes down to patterns and what path you choose to go down will ultimately tell who they choose to be. But to say whether or not someone is good person or bad person, I think it's an ignorant oversimplification of the complexity of being a human. Because the very people that may have had a negative impact on you, on us, they too were impacted negatively. They too faced pain. They too came to a crossroad when they were mistreated on whether or not to become their pain or to heal and alchemize it, to transmute it, to transcend it. It's the same crossroads. And they, more than likely, in this case, whoever people classify as bad, which that's up for interpretation. Again, I don't view things that way, but let's go with it. The bad person wasn't born that way. They were affected by their environment, their parents, their circumstances, etc. And probably weren't taught, most likely were not taught the proper tools on how to deal with that and heal that. So eventually you eventually come to a crossroad on whether or not you want to keep going down that path, or if you want to try to actually figure this out and heal it and whatever. And they too came at crossroads. Everybody has reached that crossroad. Anyone, I feel like at this point we've all been hurt in some way, shape, or form, because it just comes with life. Pain is inevitable. And when we experience that pain, however we experience that pain, drives us to a crossroad where we have to choose now. It's not about whether or not what you went through was your fault. That doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. When you reach that crossroad, it is now your responsibility to choose your path. You can either choose to continue to play a victim and let that eat away at your soul, and therefore you become like a draining energy around the people you love, even if you don't mean to. Because you keep staying in a victim mentality, there is this wounding effect you have on others, even if they can see the good in you. It's very draining. And then you also, in a sense, become your pain and start affecting the people the same way you were affected. Or the other path of the crossroad, which is to grow, to heal, and to transcend it, to transmute it, to alchemize it, right? Alchemy is like turning pain into power, or turning X into X, okay? The bricks thrown at you, you built a house. That's alchemy. Transmuting it is like, for example, if you guys look into the spirit of Leviathan, transmuting that would be humility. That's one of the ways of transmuting it, is humility, repentance, accountability. So you would choose one of those paths, essentially, okay? And that's going to tell whether or not the vibration you live on will continuously give you the results of being a victim, or the results of seeing the fruits of growth and accountability and slowly taking your power back from everything that affected you, rather than continuously giving it away and draining yourself and others. And we all come to those points. Even those that people would say are bad, those are just people who got hurt or traumatized or were impacted in a certain way and then chose to go down the path of being a victim of their circumstance continuously, of becoming their pain, and therefore now have these impacts on others. So I essentially never saw people as like, for example, Bob is a fucking, the way I actually see it from a higher perspective is Bob, I'm just making up a figure. Bob is a person, is a soul. This soul has been affected. This person has been affected and now has developed X patterns, right, as a person. But this person affected these patterns. I essentially take the patterns and separate it from the person and look at the patterns. Patterns that this person chooses to carry are unhealthy. It's very different context than saying this person is good and bad. I don't believe in good and bad. I believe the person chooses which patterns they want to acknowledge in their life or carry in their life. And then those patterns create a ripple effect in their life that creates their reality in turn. And that reality is either going to reward you for your growth and you're going to feel empowered and healed and whatever, have healthier relationships, healthy boundaries, success, whatever, or you're going to inner peace, or you're going to choose the route of keeping these patterns the way they are, and it's going to keep looping you back into this cycle of suffering through different relationships, different jobs, different this, different that. It's just going to have different faces, but it's the same pain. Someone who's not a master of their patterns, if you're a victim mentality, you can't ever master your patterns. And if you can't ever master your patterns, you'll never realize the true ripple effect that you have on not just yourself, but your reality and others around you. And no one can ever truly have a very healthy relationship with you because you are not making room for yourself in the first place. We're having this not so desirable effect on those around you. People either have to keep you at a certain distance or not be in your life at all, especially if they're going to choose themselves. The opposite is true for those who choose growth. And they start taking accountability and not putting shit on other people. They're responsible for their behavior and the way they affect others. They look at their patterns and adjust them and become a master chess player at their patterns and start tweaking them to where they are patterns that actually align with who they want to become and the reality they want to experience. And that in turn has this natural vibrational effect of inspiring other people to also be able to feel that it's safe for them to do the same. Low-key, that actually relates to why I left that bio on my channel here. By me living my truth, I hope to inspire you to live yours. That's why I say that. I don't believe in good or bad people. I think that people are people. People are souls. And then those souls are supposed to take these X patterns that they were impacted by and developed through survival, and now are supposed to they're supposed to choose a path. And their soul knows ultimately what road they're supposed to go down. But it's up to the person, once they're here as a person, as a human, to remember that path and take that path. Yeah, much love.